Imagine a world where every decision, what you can say, how you live, what you earn, even what you believe, is shaped by an invisible system. That system is political ideology. Whether you realize it or not, it influences your life every single day. From the laws you follow to the freedoms you enjoy, from the taxes you pay to the rights you claim, everything traces back to a set of ideas about how society should work. But here's the surprising part. Most people don't fully understand the ideologies shaping their lives. So today, we're breaking it all down, simply, clearly, and completely. Let's explore the most important political ideologies ever created and what they really mean. Starting with, number 1, liberalism. Liberalism is one of the most influential ideologies in modern history. At its core, it's about individual freedom. The belief is simple. People should have the right to live their lives as they choose, as long as they don't harm others. It emphasizes democracy, human rights, free speech, and equality before the law. But here's where it gets interesting. Liberalism has evolved. Classical liberalism focuses on minimal government intervention, free markets, private property, and personal responsibility. Modern liberalism, on the other hand, believes the government should step in to reduce inequality through welfare programs, public services, and regulations. So even within one ideology, there are different interpretations. Now let's move to number 2, conservatism. If liberalism is about change and progress, conservatism is about tradition and stability. Conservatives believe that society works best when it preserves its cultural values, institutions, and traditions. Change should happen, but slowly and carefully. They tend to support strong institutions like family, religion, and national identity. Economically, many conservatives favor free markets, but socially, they often emphasize order, discipline, and authority. To them, rapid change can be dangerous. Now here's where things shift dramatically. Number 3, socialism. Socialism is built on the idea of economic equality. It argues that wealth and resources should be distributed more fairly across society rather than concentrated in the hands of a few. Instead of private ownership dominating everything, socialism promotes collective or government ownership of key industries. The goal is simple: reduce inequality and ensure everyone has access to basic needs, like healthcare, education, and housing. But socialism comes in many forms. Some support democratic socialism, working within a democratic system. Others support more radical restructuring of society. Which brings us to number 4, communism. Communism takes socialist ideas to the extreme. In theory, it envisions a classless society where there is no private property, no rich or poor, and no state. Everything is shared equally. But in practice, communist systems have often involved strong central governments controlling resources and limiting personal freedoms. The idea sounds equal, but the reality has often been controversial. Now let's explore something different. Number 5, capitalism. Capitalism isn't always labeled as an ideology, but it absolutely functions as one. It's based on private ownership, free markets, and profit-driven activity. People and businesses compete, and success depends on innovation, efficiency, and demand. Supporters say capitalism drives growth, creativity, and opportunity. Critics say it creates inequality, exploitation, and instability, and that tension is still shaping the world today. Next up, number 6, fascism. Fascism is one of the most extreme and controversial ideologies. It promotes authoritarian power, strong national identity, and absolute control. In fascist systems, individual freedoms are often suppressed in favor of unity and obedience. The government is typically led by a powerful leader, and opposition is not tolerated. It's an ideology that prioritizes strength, order, and nationalism, often at a very high human cost. Now moving to something more modern. Number 7, libertarianism. Libertarianism pushes the idea of freedom even further than liberalism. It argues that individuals should have maximum freedom, and the government should have minimal involvement. That means low taxes, fewer regulations, and more personal choice in almost every area of life. Want to start a business? No restrictions? Want to live your life your way? No interference. The belief is simple: the less government, the better. But critics argue that without regulation, inequality and exploitation can grow. Now let's explore identity-based ideologies. Number 8, nationalism. Nationalism is about strong loyalty to one's nation. It emphasizes unity, shared culture, language, and identity. In moderate forms, nationalism can bring people together. but in extreme forms, it can lead to exclusion, division, and conflict. It often overlaps with other ideologies, sometimes strengthening them, sometimes making them more intense. Now, something more progressive. Number 9, feminism. Feminism is a political ideology focused on gender equality. It challenges systems that have historically disadvantaged women and seeks equal rights in every area, social, political, and economic. But feminism isn't one single idea. There are different waves and types, each focusing on different issues like voting rights, workplace equality, or social justice. At its core, it's about fairness and equal opportunity. Next, number 10, environmentalism. Environmentalism has become one of the most important ideologies of the modern era. It argues that protecting the environment should be a top priority. This includes fighting climate change, preserving natural resources, and promoting sustainable living. Some versions call for major changes in how economies work, while others focus on policy reforms. Either way, it's shaping global politics more than ever. Now let's go deeper. Number 11, anarchism. Anarchism challenges the very idea of government itself. It argues that society can function without centralized authority. Instead, people would organize themselves voluntarily through cooperation and mutual aid. To many, it sounds unrealistic, but to supporters, it represents the ultimate form of freedom. Now, something more cultural. Number 12, populism. Populism is less about a fixed ideology and more about a political style. It frames politics as a struggle between the people and the elite. Populist leaders often claim to represent the true voice of ordinary citizens. It can exist on both the left and right, and often rises during times of crisis or dissatisfaction. Next, number 13, technocracy. Technocracy is based on the idea that experts, not politicians, should run society. Scientists, engineers, and specialists would make decisions based on data and efficiency. The goal is smarter governance. But critics say it removes democratic choice and human values from decision-making. Now, something tied to tradition. Number 14, monarchism. Monarchism supports rule by a king or queen. In modern times, it usually exists in constitutional forms, where monarchs have symbolic roles. But historically, monarchs held absolute power. It's one of the oldest political systems still existing today. And finally, number 15, centrism. Centrism doesn't fully commit to one ideology. Instead, it seeks balance, combining ideas from different sides. Centrists believe extreme positions can be harmful and prefer compromise and moderation. But critics argue that it can lack clear direction. So what does all of this mean? Political ideologies aren't just abstract ideas. They shape laws, economies, societies, and your daily life. And the truth is, most people don't fit perfectly into just one. You might believe in economic freedom, but also social equality. You might value tradition, but support progress. That's because ideologies are tools, not boxes. Understanding them doesn't just make you more informed. It makes you more aware of how the world works and how it could change. Because in the end, politics isn't just about leaders or elections. It's about ideas. And the ideas you believe in shape the future you live in.